All right, so we'll start with our novel category. I'm not going to read all of the finalists just in the interest of time, but you can see them all there. Wonderful novels. And the winner is The Tales of the Come First Word by James Goldberg, Nicole Goldberg, and Matthias Singh. I have a citation to read, and then you can give your speech. Tales of the Come First Ward is a loving and highly amusing tribute to the Ward family, even as and especially a family that is knit of fools. The Kelmites' foibles and idiosyncrasies provide welcome opportunities to indulge in the happy collisions of Jewish and Mormon ways of seeing, and to check assumptions about the unwritten order of things. The Helm stories are at once hyper-local and applicable to any Ward family or gathering of not at all perfect humans, joined by both love and happenstance. It depicts the joy, absurdity, and absolute necessity of the shared but barely governed spaces in which people have chances to run into each other by accident, especially when they would never do it on purpose.
Well, thank you, guys. It's really hard work to write something this stupid. And so we're honored. I wanted to share a scripture very quickly with my theology of humor. This is Jacob in 2nd Nephi chapter 9, and verse 42 says, "And whoso knocketh, to him will he open. And the wise and the learned and they that are rich, who are puffed up because of their learning and their wisdom and their riches, yea, they are they whom he despiseth. And save they shall cast these things away and consider themselves fools before God, and come down in the depths of humility, he will not open unto them." And I really do hope, like, I don't know, a novel, a particularly stupid novel is maybe not the most revolutionary thing, but if we're learning as a community how to be fools before God and get comfortable with that, I think that's a lovely aspiration.
Oh, I didn't have any. I just get to be the fool.
If you want to dip your toes in this book without committing to the entire physical object, it was serialized on Wayfair magazine. You might enjoy The Last Free Sin of Shmuel Peretz, which is about having your 8th birthday tomorrow and realizing you're running out of time to sin before God's going to care.
But I also highly recommend for anyone who's ever been to girls' camp to read the girls' camp series, because guys, it's for real. Thank you.
All right, we're gonna jump ahead because we're waiting for one finalist to arrive. So I'm gonna skip to the poetry category. These are our finalists in poetry for 2024. And the winner is Maureen Clark, This Insatiable August. And I'll read the citation. This Insatiable August is a meditative work of discovery and beauty, a wrestle with love and grief. Many of the poems engage directly with Clark's own Latter-day Saint heritage, as well as her departure from the faith. Please, someone fill this God-shaped hole in me, pleads the speaker in Holes, a poem about loss and the possibilities it creates. Now that I am empty, measure the cups of stardust I am made from. Please craft a bucket from my chest. But while Clark's poems have a yearning for God, family, and ancestral bonds, provide hope, comfort and hope. See how he rolls a cigarette, my dead grandfather. He licks the edge of the paper and twists the ends. Smell the sulfur of the match. The red glow there across the room until morning. Trust in that. These are among the many images rendered in precise and beautiful language that make this insatiable August such a soul-searching expression of faith. Thanks.
Wow. I am so grateful for this award. I've been writing poetry for a long, long time and trying to get it published for a long, long time. And as poets know, it takes a long, long time. I feel so grateful to be among people like Darlene and Lance Larson and Laura Stott and Lindsay Webb. In fact, when I saw the people that were on that list, I thought, well, fabulous. One of them's going to win this award. And I didn't think it would be me. A long time ago, 50 years, in fact, I showed up on the campus of Snow College as a freshman. Met my husband, John, and we got married. And this is one of the first times I've been back in a very long time, and that also feels very good. To the people who organized this conference, you're doing a good job, and it is hard work to run a conference of any kind. And all the honors to you. Thank you so much.
All right, our next award category is the young adult novel. Here are the finalists, and the winner is Elizabeth Loam for her novel Casters and Crowns. We're still awaiting the citation from the judges, so I'm going to read the description from the publisher. When Crown Princess Arya sees her kingdom on the brink of war with the magic-wielding casters, she takes it upon herself to speak to the dangerous widow Morton, the most dangerous caster in the realm. If successful, Arya will not only ensure peace, but also prove to her father that she is a worthy heir. But when her negotiations fail, Arya is dealt a terrible curse. Over the course of 100 days, she will be unable to sleep, her body and mind doomed to waste away, and then the curse will pass to her sister until every member of the king's line is dead. Arya's best hope for breaking her curse is to seek help from another caster, the handsome and charming Baron Reeves. He may be entitled to a place at court, but as a magic user, can he truly be trusted? She vows not to be fooled by his dimpled smiles or his devotion to his brothers. But as she spends more time with him, she discovers that her heart has other ideas. And I believe we have Liz on the call. Can you share her up there?
Hello.
Just a second here. There we go. Okay.
Hello. I'm very grateful to be here tonight and grateful that you had a virtual option. That's really handy.
Go for it.
Okay. I saw it keep moving. I just had a baby about a month ago, and so I have not been able to travel. So I'm really grateful that I can still interact. And I'm so honored to have this award, especially the other two books in my category are both wonderful. When I look back on my life, all of the important moments have been impacted by stories. There have been books that have inspired me when I've been struggling or fearful. And there have been books that have inspired me to do more good in the world, to do great things, to believe I'm capable of those. And the reason that I love writing for youth is because being a teenager is so difficult, and looking ahead at the rest of your life and trying to figure out how you want to direct it and who you want to be. And for me, during those formative years, there were so many books that taught me what I wanted to be and what I didn't want to be. And I have tried to write books that the 16-year-old me would have been proud of and would have loved. I hope that this book is able to reach teenagers who are struggling and is able to inspire them in one way or another. I hope that they can relate to Arya's struggles because they're very personal to me as well. I am grateful to the people who run this award. As an author, a lot of what we do is solitary at a computer, and it's really nice to have a little bit of recognition. And I am grateful to all the authors who keep writing even when they don't receive any recognition, because stories matter. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Our next award is our AML Lifetime Achievement Award for 2024, which goes to Glenn Nelson. And here's our citation. It takes a certain kind of person to become a Joyce scholar. The works of James Joyce are so full of illusions that their study is the literary version of an extreme endurance sport. It involves chasing obscure connections and catching subtle overtones of meaning. Signing up to take on Joyce is an open commitment to taking in world culture. Glenn Nelson claims that he gave up on Joyce Scholarship 40 years ago after graduating from NYU, but we are beginning to suspect he simply followed some threads straight off the page and chased them with the tenacity of a bloodhound. Over the years, Glenn has worked to trace Latter-day Saints through the currents of world culture, whether he's reintroducing us to John Held Jr. and Joseph Paul Vorst, casting a wide net to compile a database of Latter-day Saint composers, or chronicling a year of Latter-day Saint creativity for the season. Glenn has been a reliable and adventurous guide to the broad web of Latter-day Saint arts. During this century, Glenn has also been a key force in helping weave that web. In 1999, he founded the Mormon Artists Group, which made space for passion projects and collaborations. In 2017, he worked with Richard Bushman and others to launch the Mormon Arts Center, later the Center for Latter-day Saint Arts, to bring together artists from different disciplines and build an informed audience and network of patrons. With his signature energy and warmth, Glenn has made countless people feel connected to a larger tradition and a community of creativity. It's a little difficult to understand where he finds all the bandwidth, but while studying the arts and building community around the arts, Glenn has also produced a frankly shocking quantity of the stuff. Though it's entirely possible he's got something coming out as we speak that will disrupt this count, he is the author of 34 books, 137 essays, articles, and interviews, 22 works of fiction, theater, and poetry, and the librettist of 8 operas and 22 choral works, art songs, and hymns. But all of that is a side gig, Glenn insists. My life's purpose is not about producing things, as pleasant as that's been, he says. I want to live an artful life and surround myself with people, things, and experiences I love that bring continuous surprise, beauty, and insight. Glenn, it's been our great delight to share this century with you and take in some of the same surprise. The Association for Mormon Letters is honored to mark those experiences with its Lifetime Achievement Award and a wish for many beauty-drenched years to come. And I believe we have Glenn on as well to make a comment for us.
Well, I'm the one who's honored. Thank you so much. What an extravagance to receive the 2024 Lifetime Achievement Award from the Association for Mormon Letters, an organization I admire deeply. So thank you very much. You know, I've tried throughout my career to be of use as an arts advocate and collaborator and to write things that were meaningful to me. I had the good fortune just last Sunday to attend in Boston the first performance of my new opera, The Captivity of Hannah Duston, that's based on a controversial figure in history. She was the first U.S. woman to have a statue erected in her honor, and the music was composed by Grammy Award winner Lansing McCloskey, who's also LDS. Opera, you know, I mean, this isn't an opera organization, but just so you know, opera is an expensive art form to create and produce, and we were honored to receive grant support from the Barlow Endowment for Music Composition, the Baliasco Foundation, and from the National Endowment for the Arts. But these are tough times for arts organizations, which is why I mentioned that. Before I kind of sit down and let other writers have their moment, I want to leave you with some encouraging words for these chaotic times. My inclination is to get political, but something is telling me not to do that today since I can't exactly read the room over Zoom. Instead, let me just say that it's an important time to be a writer right now in this country, to be faithful, true, and bold. I want to create work that I can be proud of now, and if there are libraries in heaven, forever. And to paraphrase Gordon B. Hinckley, that stand for something. So I hope you find these thoughts a little bit useful. And again, to AML, thank you very, very much.
We're going to go back because we got someone back on stream here. Is that working? No. I'm not control here. Go back up to film for me. There we go. Lovely. Okay. These are our film finalists. Scroll up here. All right. And the winner is Garrett Batty for his feature film, The Faith of Angels. Faith of Angels is a heartfelt and inspirational movie that makes us believe that miracles truly do occur. Excellent cinematography and strong performances are elevated even further by director Garrett Batty's deep talent and experience. There's a tangible sense that the cast and crew really cared about this story and the real people it's based on, and put their hearts into sharing this experience with the audience. We are also presenting Garrett Batty with the Smith Pettit Foundation Award for Outstanding Contribution to Mormon Letters, our most prestigious award for mid-career creators. An extended interview with Garrett, in which he's interviewed by fellow filmmaker Barrett Bergen, is now available on AML YouTube. And here's the award citation for that. The career of Garrett Batty, the acclaimed director, writer, and producer, stands as a testament to the power of story to inspire faith and stir the imagination. His feature films, Scout Camp, The Saratov Approach, Freetown, Out of Liberty, Faith of Angels, and The Carpenter, are notable not just for their commercial flair, but for their clear commitment to portraying stories where faith and action converge. Whether plunging viewers into the perilous world of kidnapped missionaries or the quiet resolve of a prophet trapped in the machinery of frontier justice, Batty's use of tense pacing, crisp storytelling, and genre blending elevates his narratives. His work consistently makes the case that simple faith isn't the moral of a story, it's the heartbeat of it. Batty's approach is unwavering in its embrace of Platonic idealism over Aristotelian realism. Ooh, we got Plato and Aristotle in here. His films, often centered on communities beset by trials, do not seek to simply mirror the broken world, but to reveal the glimmers of transcendence within it, suggesting that sacred trust is not naivety, but power. This approach aligns with and indeed epitomizes core Latter-day Saint doctrines that describe conviction as a catalyst for divine intervention. His films function as cinematic expressions of the principles articulated in the Doctrine and Covenants that the Lord is bound to aid us, and that we can literally obtain blessings that are predicated upon faith. Like Malachi, Batty dares his viewers to prove God, to test whether heaven will, in fact, open its windows and pour out a blessing beyond measure. His characters do not merely hope, they act, demonstrating that in a world of shadows and setbacks, light can still break through when belief is matched by action. In a sense, Batty's approach is Latter-day Saint cinema embodied, the medium as the message, the shape of his stories as the signifier of identity. By offering bold new approaches to genre, racial representation, and honest vulnerability, Batty has moved the needle in Mormon storytelling, particularly for the fellow faithful, providing a luminous template through which Latter-day Saint ideology is both depicted and enacted. And we have Garrett on here as well.
Thank you. I'm not sure if you can hear me or not, but thank you so much for this incredible honor, this citation. You can hear me? Okay, good. I figured this is the mid-career award, so it's appropriate that I am mid-shoot in Africa right now on a 5-week gathering church history stories from pioneers in Africa church membership. And I'm grateful for experiences like this. Thank you very much to the Association of Mormon Letters for this recognition and citation. And I don't lightly, I'm very, very honored. I also want to recognize Glenn Nelson, tonight's fellow honoree this evening is truly thrilling. I've admired his career for a long time. And I share this recognition with so many that have worked on those films that have been mentioned. You know, a film is a collaborative effort just by the very nature of it. And this recognition is not without a long-time collaborative, so supportive. It is difficult to be a filmmaker. It's an expensive medium, and it takes the support of financial. No, I think so. I'm very those going into these. Sometimes I wake at night with my wife, and we discuss whether or not this film thing is ever going to work out, and giving up on film. And we have video, and I'll wrap it up. So thank you again very much. There are, my heart is full, and I'm very, very grateful. And I share this with so many that have contributed to this movie.
Okay, good. Thank you so much, Garrett, and for trying to reach us from Africa. Well, that's awesome. Okay, we're going to go to our criticism finalists. Okay, so these are the finalists for criticism, and the winners are Amanda Beersley and Mason Allred, the editors of Latter-day Saint Art, A Critical Reader. For insiders, the invocation of Latter-day Saint art typically conjures familiar prints hung on the burlap walls of a meeting house. For outsiders, the category may seem like a contradiction in terms. Various individuals and organizations have labored over the past decade to bring the full range of Mormon art to the awareness of the public. A conspicuous absence in this endeavor has been a mature and critical understanding through which to evaluate and contextualize works of Mormon art. The landmark volume, Latter-day Saint Art, A Critical Reader, has filled this gap with 22 scholarly essays exploring Mormon visual art in unprecedented breadth and depth. Editors Amanda Beardsley and Mason Allred have gathered original curatorial research and analysis from a range of disciplinary perspectives, alongside attractive reproductions of more than 200 works spanning panorama paintings, quilt, architecture, sculpture, cartoons, film, gallery installations, and indigenous works. This groundbreaking collection represents the first expert critical treatment of Mormon visual art and establishes a solid foundation not only for future scholarship, but for Latter-day Saints self-understanding writ or drawn large. And I believe, Andrew, do we have a video?
Yep, I'll share that now.
Okay, hold on just a second. So do I hit stop share here? Okay, I can't get the mouse, so you'll have to do it.
You should be able to.
Is it go down? There we go. Okay, you're up, Andrew.
Friends and colleagues of the Association for Mormon Letters, we are deeply honored.
Let me see if I can get so the video's going.
Friends and colleagues of the Association for Mormon Letters, we are deeply honored and incredibly grateful that our edited collection, Latter-day Saint Art, A Critical Reader, has been selected for the 2025 AML Award in Criticism. Although we are unable to be with you in Utah for the annual meeting and award banquet, please know that this recognition means a great deal to us. I just wanted to express my sincere gratitude to the awards committee for this prestigious acknowledgement. We really appreciate you. It is really exciting and humbling as we value the judgment and expertise of you folks at AML. I also want to give a shout out and thank you to Laura Allred Hurtado, Glenn Nelson, Richard Bushman, Michael Urbana, and the Center for Latter-day Saint Arts and its generous donors who made this possible. And most of all, I'd like to thank my co-editor, Mason Allred.
Thank you, Amanda. I'd also like to take a couple seconds to echo Amanda's words and to thank the incredible authors who filled the book with their brilliance and for the amazing works of art and the artists they treated throughout its pages. So thank you again to the committee for spending time with our book, for lending it your care and your consideration. It is incredibly rewarding to know that the work has resonated with the association and that it contributes in its own way to the important field of Mormon studies and hopefully helps define the field and open up new research and work in the direction of artwork and the creativity and their central role in the history, culture, and belief of Latter-day Saints. So once again, thank you so much for this award.
Thanks.
Did that work? Did you see the video?
It's great. Worked out great.
That's the second year in a row that Mason has won this award.
True. All right. Okay. And now we'll do the award for creative nonfiction book length. These are our finalists. And the winners are Katie Ludlow Rich and Heather Sundahl, editors of 50 Years of Exponent 2. The concept for 50 Years of Exponent 2 may seem simple, something achievable perhaps through a well-wrought AI prompt in a celebratory tone. Historicize and provide a representative sample of key contributions to this geminal product publication. In the hands of author-editors Katie Ludlow Rich and Heather Sundahl, however, this book far exceeds a simple concept or computation. The result of their research, writing, and curation is a tribute to a publication that has made substantial contributions to Mormon culture and history. Rich and Sundahl's treatment of Exponent 2 both documents and develops issues of gender in a highly gendered culture and religion, assembling and amplifying generations of voices, beginning in what is known as the second wave of U.S. feminism and ranging into today's global intersectional gender complexities. Their presentation is diverse yet coherent, grounded but not mired in Exponent 2's four mothers, and introducing highlights of the publication in a single volume readily available for women and others who need it today or will need it tomorrow.
We are very grateful. I've written a few things down because I tend to ramble. I am a preschool dropout. Instead of spending my days learning the alphabet and making ashtrays out of clay, yes, I was raised in the 70s, I hung onto my mom's plaid maxi skirt as she went from house to house visiting women in the ward in her capacity as a Relief Society president. She brought treats and a message, helped run errands, but mostly she listened. I think this is where my deep love and appreciation for women's stories is rooted. A love that led me to Exponent 2, where I have volunteered for almost 3 decades as a writer, editor, blogger, and ultimately historian. I want to thank the thousands of women who have been part of Exponent as volunteers, contributors, and especially as readers who again and again serve as witnesses to the truth of our lives. I need to thank my co-author, the amazing Katie Ludlow Rich, the soul sister I didn't know I was missing, my 3 daughters, Georgia, Millie, and Bee, who saw my feminism and raised with social justice, and my mother, Marilyn Bickmore, who taught me the value of women's words. Thank you.
Thank you. This book is a testament to community, and I appreciate Association of Mormon Letters and how important it has been, and its founders were to the founding of Exponent as well. Eugene England, essential for encouraging the Boston women, and Lavina Fielding Anderson and Maureen Bach Beecher and others, so many here and throughout Association of Mormon Letters history who have been essential contributors and participants and supporters, and to have this recognition means so much, and encourages me to reach out and remember the value of this broad Mormon community in Mormon studies. And I want to thank my co-writer as well, and my husband, who has supported these years of research and writing and Zoom interviews and time in the archive to allow this work to come forth. Thank you.
Okay, our next award is for creative nonfiction, a single essay. These are our finalists, and the winner.
Actually, can we skip that one? Joseph can come on later.
Okay, we'll come back.
We'll come back to that one.
We'll do this one because I know we're ready for this one. Short fiction finalists. These are the finalists, and the winner is Jack Harrell for his story, The Boy Comes Home. In The Boy Comes Home, Harrell skillfully reimagines the prodigal son's parable, central dramatic moment, that of the wandering child's return. Here, the anxiously waiting parent is not the father, but a now divorced mother living in her empty nest. This visit is not a permanent homecoming suggested in Luke, but merely a tentative and temporary stopover. The son can only stay a few minutes. The mother's wait for his arrival is marked by guilt for whatever part she might have played in his estrangement from her, and with the worry that her offering, her ambiguous but nevertheless understandable petitioning, will prove inadequate. But in fact, those efforts, motivated and accepted by love, do prove adequate to the moment, a resulting story that is tender, poignant, powerful, and hopeful.
Thank you. The writer and editor Betsy Lerner said, "It's remarkable how much time writers spend alone in their efforts to connect with other people." And so, hours and hours and hours of work, and then 1 minute up at the stand. So thank you very much. It's wonderful. Maybe something that's really good about this is maybe it's good that I'll never really know the person reading the story who tears up at the end and says, "That's my story. That's my boy. That's my son." So thank you very much.
Okay, our next award is for comics. Here are our finalists, and the winner is Corey Eckbert for his graphic novel Visitations. Visitations is a semi-autograph, start over. Visitations, a semi-autobiographical graphic novel, tells a gripping story that tackles a number of tough subjects, including faith, child abuse, mental illness, kidnapping, and teenage hormones, in a way accessible to preteens, young adults, and adults. Eckbert does an excellent job of layering in the story, hiding important elements in plain sight, and pulling off several surprises. He portrays a parent suffering from mental illness and resorting to kidnapping in a charitable but clear-eyed way. His simple, skillful art style invites the reader in, effectively conveying the emotions and feelings of the characters without overcomplicating anything. His characters are interesting and identifiable, with quirks and foibles, giving the story a reality and weight not always found in comics. Visitations is a remarkable triumph of Mormon literature. And we have Corey on Zoom. Me. Hit the stop.
Hello.
Excellent. We can hear you.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna read my remarks here if that's okay. Thank you, AML, so much for this honor, and I'm sorry I can't be there in person because I live in Virginia. Writing and illustrating Visitations was a deeply personal journey exploring my past, my faith, and my family. Being the child of a single mom living in Lehi, Utah, my religious leaders stepped up to teach me how to be a responsible Mormon man. And the accountants, lawyers, and businessmen who were my leaders couldn't really make sense of me, this quiet kid who liked to draw. And in that context, wanting to be an artist and writer often felt like something I had to defend or even hide. I'm so grateful for the people who did support me despite all my self-doubt. It's fulfilling to be acknowledged with this award by the Mormon creative community. I believe that as we create art, especially the messy, vulnerable humankind, we make our religious community better. Thank you to everyone who's read the book, and especially to my wife, Natalia, my sister, Sarah, and my dad, Jeff. Also, a shout out to any faculty at Snow that might be present. I attended Snow from 2010 to 2012, and I grew a lot while I was there. Thank you again for this honor.
Excellent. We're just moving right along. Okay. Our next category is picture book, and these are our finalists. And the winner is Emily Anue for her picture book, What Kept Playing, illustrations by Kay King. Picture books are a great way to introduce young children to history and biography. Simple sentences and engaging illustrations offer a bite-sized introduction to a person's life, whether famous or relatively unknown. Wataru Misaka is in the latter group. Born in Utah to Japanese immigrants, he was a basketball-loving teenager when the United States entered World War II. In the midst of an atmosphere of anti-Japanese sentiment, Misaka made it onto the University of Utah basketball team, winning 2 national tournaments. He later became the first person of color to be drafted into the BAA, precursor to the NBA. Watt kept playing reminds us that everyday actions like practicing basketball can also be acts of bravery, and that trailblazing achievements sometimes go unrecognized until many years later. And we have a video for this one.
Okay, I'm ready.
Yep.
Thank you so much for this honor. I apologize for not being there in person. I'm out of the country and was hoping to get on Zoom, but if you're seeing this recording, it means that my internet wasn't good enough. So I thank you all for this honor. I'm very grateful for the work that this organization does. I'm also so grateful to those who helped me with this book. First and foremost, of course, Mr. Misaka. I'm very grateful to him. He was someone I knew as a child, but because of his humility, I never knew that he was a basketball player until I was an adult. But I'm grateful for his example of tenacity and grit. Here's this 5'7" Japanese American at a time when most Japanese Americans were in camps, who shows us what just keeping going can bring. I'm grateful also to Shadow Mountain, to my illustrator, to my editor, Lisa Mangum, to Chris Schominger, to Amy Parker. Grateful to that whole team. There's too many people to name, but grateful to all of them for helping bring this to life. And I just hope you guys all have a wonderful night tonight.
Excellent. Our next category is short fiction collection. Here are the finalists. And the winner is David G. Pace for his collection, American Trinity and Other Stories from the Mormon Corridor. In American Trinity, Pace deftly dissects the cozy platitudes and idiosyncrasies of our faith. He knows the people of the corridor, multi-generational descendants of Mormon pioneers, and what makes them dyed-in-the-wool. Pace writes of their complications, secret sorrows, and peculiar pains. His stories spring from a well of heartbreak and humor, frighteningly familiar but fresh. A childless wife tries to rediscover temple work by performing ordinances for a dead movie star. A married couple quibbles over the spiritual implications of a presidential election. A general authority grapples with sorrow and disillusionment in his new calling. And in the masterfully executed title story, American Trinity, one of the 3 Nephites goes rogue, searching for the lost God he once knew and loved. In elegant prose laced with stunning metaphors, Pace explores themes that can resonate with readers of all stripes: love, friendship, faith, sacrifice, family, death, duty. Pace's characters are all wanderers who find religion pure and undefiled, not in the sterile confines of a building, but in the daily grit and grime of the Wasatch Front. In true Zion, the only unforgivable sin is to dismiss someone else's pain.
Thank you. Those were very kind words. I don't know who wrote that, but there were only 2 of us for finalists. Ryan and I did an arm wrestle and virtually, but thank you very much for this honor. This kind of comes full circle because American Trinity, the title story, won the AML 2011 Best Short Story Prize. So it's really nice to see this come together and with some other stories that I've written. I don't really have any prepared remarks. I want to thank the AML. I worked with Iriantum for 5 years as a sections editor when Lorraine Wilkins was the editor. And it's nice to see that the organization is still chugging along. I think one of the better reviews that I received for this collection was from Ellen Fag-Weiss, who you may know, in 15 Bytes. And she said, this guy is just a cultural anthropologist who's out to figure out the Mormon corridor. And you know what? She was absolutely right. I see Mormonism as this giant meteor that crashed into the earth, and we've been trying to make sense of it ever since. It was my nice, kind Episcopal wife who finally said, stop writing about the meteor and start writing about all of the impacts from this meteor that hit the earth, because there are a lot of interesting people out there who call themselves Mormon. And apparently she thinks I'm still an interesting Mormon or post-Mormon because we've been married over 30 years. So I just want to thank everyone in this room, and also Dialogue, which published American Trinity, which was my first short story and was also the inspiration for my novel later. So I'm just really glad to be here. There's a lot of friends here. Maureen, you're my Facebook friend. It's nice to finally see you in person. And congratulations. And congratulations to all of you. This is really important work, and like has already been shared, it's solitary work that we do, but it's very gratifying to see even one person come up and thank you for a story or for a book. And this really means a lot to me to have this kind of validation. So thank you.
Okay. All right, our next category is drama. Here are the finalists, and the winner is Ben Abbott for his play Buddies, a Bromantic Comedy. Buddies is a side-splitting comedy with a deep dramatic core about the difficulty of finding adult friendships. It is filled with a sharp comedic wit and a sense of timing and insight that very few writers possess. There's a keen sense of dramatic structure with charming character development and naturally flowing dialogue that leads the reader through this budding relationship. Buddies matches the romantic comedy trope perfectly, making the journey of the protagonist David very satisfying. Beyond the comedy or the story, Buddies also highlights an issue that can go undetected in today's society, and especially in LDS culture, the need for men who may be devoted fathers and husbands to have friends outside of their family. This play brings the humor and heart of this issue to new levels, mixing a deep understanding of human relationships with the craft and expertise of a comedian to create a delightful experience for an audience. And I believe we have Ben on the call. Let me get him up here.
Hello.
There you go. You're live.
Oh, hi. Well, thank you very much for that. I've written a couple things down that I'll reference, but I just want to say I really appreciate this. I come to playwriting from an acting background, and the nature of acting is that we study the text of the play like it's scripture. And so because of that, I've always had maybe an outsized reverence and admiration for playwrights and writers. So to be recognized as a playwright from a literary organization is for me very cool. It feels a little bit like being invited to sit with the cool kids. I also want to say I've also long admired the Association for Mormon Letters and some of its members. I'm thinking specifically of Eric Jepson, Melissa Leilani Larson, and the late, great Eric Samuelson, all of whom have encouraged me in ways large and small over the years, even if it was something as simple as adding me on Facebook saying, hey, you seem like you do interesting work. We should be connected. I also just want to, if I may say, it's a special honor for me to be a co-finalist this year alongside J. Scott Bronson, whom I've never met and doesn't know me. But when I was a freshman at BYU in 2003, I saw his play Stones at a little storefront theater in Orem, Utah. And to this day, I point back to that as one of the most powerful and impactful pieces of theater I've ever experienced. So to receive the same award he did for that play back in 2001 is for me a very special honor. As for my play buddies, I'm really touched that people have connected with my little rom-com about male loneliness and friendship. Um, the play wouldn't exist without the playwrights lab at Hollins University and its director and creator Todd Ristoff. So thanks to him and everyone at Hollins, especially my collaborators Rachel Graff Evans, David Veach, Sophia Manconi, and Richie Canaday. I also want to thank Neil David Seibel and everyone at Auburn University of Montgomery, and a very special thanks to Kelsey Doherty and Maury Shore at Sky Pilot Theater in Los Angeles for producing the world premiere. And just lastly, and most importantly, thanks to my amazing wife Barbara, who deserves so much credit for anything I ever do. So thank you to her, and thank you to AML.
Excellent. Okay, our next category is for religious nonfiction. These are our finalists. And the winner is Adam Miller's book, The Christ Child. Miller takes the reader on a visionary exploration of the meaning of Christmas. Just as children await Christmas with wondrous awe, Miller invites the reader to experience Christianity with the same sense of awe. It is with awe that the Magi sought the Christ child and Mary held the Savior of the world in her arms. The gospel that Miller presents is one of childlike simplicity, a new variation on old themes, standing out amongst the busyness of contemporary Christian discipleship. Miller taps into the core of Latter-day Saint theology that we are children of loving heavenly parents and that by emulating the childlike qualities of Christ, a new world of possibilities opens before us. We don't have Adam with us today. And then I have a few that I need to go back to. So I'm going to hit the stop share and go back. Okay. Can you share it for me again? Thanks. I'm getting the hang of it. I'm getting there. Maybe I'm up for technology. Wonderful. Thank you. Okay. Scroll back up on here. Our next category is for middle grade novel. Here are our finalists. And the winner is Yamil Sayed Mendez for her novel, The Beautiful Game. And you'll have to forgive me because this citation starts thusly. Gold! This is the book girls and women have been wanting for generations. The Beautiful Game is sure to score with readers young and old, told with the perfect blend of sensitivity, honesty, and humor. The important themes of girls' puberty, girls' athletics, diversity, friendship, and complex family relationships team up to create a can't put it down winner. And Yamila sent a statement to us. Thank you for this wonderful honor and recognition. Although I was born and raised in Argentina, my heart also belongs to this land in Utah where I formed a family and planted roots. I'm delighted that a story about a Latina girl has received so much love and acceptance. Thank you all, and I hope to celebrate many other Latina stories by other LDS authors in the future. We have our final award for creative nonfiction essay. And these are our finalists. And the winner is Melissa Waiting Yanuez for her essay, A Church That Is Real. We lost Melissa to cancer in 2024. And we were trying to get her husband, Joseph McCullen, to be here to accept the award, but things haven't worked out. So here's the citation for you. This eloquent essay repeats some of the themes Melissa Inouye shared in her 2023 book, Sacred Struggle, about the need to accept diversity and disagreement among one's fellows, as well as a smattering of cognitive dissonance in gospel matters in order to struggle mightily with life's puzzles, thereby exercising our divine capacity. She maintains that if our heavenly parents had intended for everyone to think alike and to follow the same path back to them, they could have endorsed Lucifer's plan. Instead, they gave us the power of agency, which is the power to make terrible mistakes and cause lasting damage. But it is also the power to be brave, to be wise, to extend the self, and to be a true healer. What a terrible loss that this may be one of her last published pieces, as she passed away on April 23rd, 2024, at age 44. She is greatly missed.
Liz, we're going to have Zach, her editor, is going to say something.
I'm sorry, Andrew, could you repeat that again?
Zachary Davis, her editor for this piece, is going to say something.
Okay.
We're incredibly
hit the stop share so we can see you. There we go. Go for it.
we're incredibly grateful to receive this award. And Melissa is someone that deeply shaped the spirit of Wayfair. When we were thinking of starting this project, I told her about it, and she characteristically said the truth, even though it was uncomfortable, is, do we really need another magazine? And everybody else had been politely encouraging, and she actually took the idea seriously and asked a hard question. And that spirit of looking deep at the truth, asking hard questions, and doing it with compassion and a smile is exactly why so many of us love Melissa. And this essay, I think, will continue to live on and help people. It's already become our most popular, most read essay of all time, and I'm not sure it will ever be surpassed. So thank you, MSH, for this honor.
Wonderful. We're done. And thank you all for sticking with us through all of the technical glitches and excitement here. We appreciate you taking the time out of your exhausting conference day to acknowledge some of our writers and creatives. It means a lot to writers to be acknowledged. Remember that there is an award winner reading at 7 p.m. at Michael Austin's home. Make sure you get that address. It is about a 20-minute walk from the library here. Again, doors open at 6:30. Do not arrive before then. And then we will start the reading at 7. Thank you so much for help with all the technical issues. And thank you to MSH for being such a great conference partner for us.